Hey, World Entertainment, and of course, we now know that they are moving forward with a brand new Wonder Woman movie. And that brings us to the big question of, well, who is going to actually play Wonder Woman? Is it going to be someone brand new? Could it possibly be Gal Gadot being brought back? And the pressure is on. Like, James Gunn just recently confirmed that the new Wonder Woman movie is officially being written right now. And on top of that, of course, the prequel series Paradise Lost is also in development, which is slowly but surely moving forward. And this all sets the stage for Themyscira to be a massive cornerstone of the new DCU. What that means is the actress, who gets the role won't just be in the movie. She'll be a pillar of the entire franchise, quite possibly standing shoulder to shoulder basically with the new Superman and Batman, if you can ever figure that out. And that will be, of course, the new DCU's Trinity. So what exactly are they going to look for, and who could actually be the person involved? And there are names being floated about. Now, of course, there's a lot of talk about could it possibly be, not from the mainstream media, but more the fans and kind of the quieter section of the fans saying Gina Carano. Could Gina Carano actually be it? Because she's got the look, she's got the physicality, she's got the build. She would emphasize quite strongly what the Amazonian warriors are. But she is not the name that the mainstream is following. One of the names is being floated about for a long time right now, but there are a couple of new contenders in there. And that first one that's really sticking out now that a lot of people seem to be leaning towards is Adria Arjona, who was in Andor. And for some reason, a lot of people seem to be looking at her from just the performance in that movie and going, oh, she'd be the perfect Wonder Woman. It's like, would she though? Would she really be the perfect choice? It's an interesting choice. All of these people, you can kind of see different versions of a Wonder Woman being with them, but it really is one of those, is she the right choice? Because of one show that, she was basically tortured in. Realistically, she was tortured in, because the first season, of course, she actually is physically tortured. The second season, she, of course, her character is attempted to be raped by an Imperial officer, and she just put through hell. And stature-wise, she is 5'7", but is that really that? Should it be someone slightly taller than that? I don't know. It's an interesting choice, but she is a name that seems to be coming front and center for fans to say her name. Of course, one of the other names that has been attached for the longest time is Alexandria Daddario, who everybody has been looking at her and saying, we want her to be Wonder Woman. And they've been saying that for a hell of a long time. Especially after San Andreas came out with The Rock. That's when her name really started kind of getting floated about for a fan casting, if you like, of Wonder Woman. Was oh, she'd be perfect. I think a lot of people just want to see the chest in that suit. But she could be an interesting choice. Again, she does have much more of the look compared to Adria. So, yeah, she could work. Height-wise, I'm not quite sure how tall she is. I think she's in at around 5'8", so slightly tall. That's tall. For a woman, that is tall. But it's still, when you're thinking of an Amazonian warrior who stands shoulder to shoulder with Batman and Superman, you kind of shorter doesn't quite work, but she would be an interesting choice. Another name that has been getting floated about, which I understand why, but I don't see it happening, is of course Karen Gillan, who obviously is Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff. That is one thing that I hope James Gunn stays away from, and it doesn't seem like he's doing that, which is to stay away from just starting to cast all the people that he worked with on Guardians. We're already hearing now about Superman that there's actually a bunch of characters that haven't been announced yet that are meant to be played by at least 3 people that worked with him on Guardians. Not saying it's going to be like Chris Pratt or anything, but it'll probably be familiar faces. I just think don't start going down that road. Again, I don't particularly see her as a character like Wonder Woman. Not saying she's terrible, she's great at what she does. You know, the amount of people who don't realise that she's not just Scottish, she's very Scottish when you hear her actually speak. Not sure what height she is actually, so that's an interesting one. And another name that has started to get floated about since Top Gun Maverick is, of course, Monica Barbaro, who is also in Fubar alongside Arnie, and she plays the daughter in that. So that is a very action role that she plays in that series. So that kind of leans her a lot more, in my opinion, into the role of Wonder Woman. In terms of the physicality, the stuff you have to do. She's quite athletic as well, but it's the fact that she is doing a lot more of the action. Karen Gillan, of course, does a lot of action in the likes of Guardians and stuff like that, but that's a lot more CGI action, where particularly in Fubar, she is the one kind of running around and jumping up and down and all that type of stuff, which kind of gives her a bit more of an edge. Alexandria Daddario, I don't particularly recall seeing her doing much action. You know, obviously she's done a few movies like San Andreas where she had to do things, but I'm not really sure about. Again, that's more kind of that CGI action rather than actual physical action. And as for Adria Arturo, or however you pronounce her second name, yeah, the only thing I've really seen her in is Andor. She was in that 6 Underground, but I'll be honest with you, I don't really remember that movie. But they are the names that currently seem to be getting floated about. Of course, as I said, Gina Carano has been another fan favourite for quite a while, especially when she showed up in The Mandalorian. People were really kind of saying, oh, she could be a really good take on Wonder Woman. So, of course, the long-time favourite has been Alexandria Daddario, and is still a powerful contender with years of fan love, you know, and that is one of the things. Then, of course, you do have Karen Gillan and the likes of Monica Barbaro, and they could bring a fresh take on the character. But let's not be surprised if the announcement comes that they are in fact bringing Gal Gadot back, because there is a possibility that that could happen. It probably won't, but it is a possibility that is out there. We will have to actually wait and see. So, with that, I just thought we'd jump into a video, talk about the contenders, the possible contenders to actually be the new Wonder Woman in the new DCU. Who would you pick? Let us know in the comments. Like, it doesn't just have to be any of the names we talked about in this video. Who would you actually like to see as Wonder Woman? Do you want Gal Gadot to come back? Would you rather someone new? Would you prefer one of these names? If it's one of these names, let us know which one you would prefer over the other. Or have you someone else in mind? Let me know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.